Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Doki-Doki Literature Club Plus.
Me.
Last time we did Trust Part 1, and now we're going to do Trust Part 2.
True. We are in a hallway.
Another day has passed in a flash, and it's really time for the next club meeting. I'm just adding words. Although Monica should have already come up with a plan for today's club task, she hasn't been able to shake her gut and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem.
I'm so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? Sayori is going through these kinds of feelings, and I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? This whole time, I didn't think to ask about her own feelings. So much for the stupid vision.
Sayori enters the club room with her usual smile. But upon seeing the downcast Monica, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern. Monica! Is everything okay?
I lost the race. ... I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend.
Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head.
I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours.
Sayori responds quickly.
Quietly.
Quietly. What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens. Though the silent Sayori mutters her realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that.
But why? We're friends, right?
Wordless, Sayori nods.
Friends look out for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you're here for me.
Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy. This is different. It wasn't just about you yourself, you yesterday. It was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You didn't need to do all this stuff all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So, if you do this, then you're being selfish. ... Monica massages her forehead, struggling thoughts through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable what Sayori isn't ready to share certain things. But as unfair as it is for Monica to pry, it's also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of her friends.
I'm sorry I looked I disrespected your privacy.
No, I don't blame you for looking. I would have at least needed to check if it was mine.
Yeah.
Monica takes a deep breath.
Okay.
I'm better now.
I understand that you don't want me to worry. And I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise me something?
Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts.
This is the Literature Club. It's a place where people can express themselves in a way that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Write the way into your heart or whatever. So I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves like that, so I can kill you.
Sayori smiles gently. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns Sayori's smile.
I promise.
Me too. As the conversation closes, the mood in the classroom is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed with the club activities.
So, want to teach me about poetry?
Ah!
Huh.
But what about recruitment?
It's fine. We have plenty of time for that. But right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know.
There's no way that I could say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything.
That's fine. I think I just need, some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems.
Starting isn't so hard. You just kinda need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you.
Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good.
It's not supposed to be good. You're gonna have to fight your perfections.
Perfectionist.
Oh, shit. Your perfectionist mind on each one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things it makes you think of. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story.
Kidnap Mr. Santa Claus. I want to do it. Let's draw straws.
You can get your feelings down first and then make them sound pretty later. It's not like building a railroad where you need to go from one end to another. It's more like a college. Collage. We're not going to college. Oops. It's like a collage where you find all the things that you want to put in and arrange them in a pretty way. Did it skip one?
I don't know. No.
Okay, I don't know why it looked like it skipped. At least that's how I do it. It's not like it's the only way, but it's a really good way to not get stuck right in the beginning.
I understand. Yeah, I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's actually important.
Monica pulls out her pen and starts writing on it.
She starts writing on her pen?
I realized that too. I was like, what?
Stop being a perfectionist. You idiot. I'm just kidding.
Being perfect at everything. Monica scribbles out the "you idiot" after she writes it down.
On her pen.
No, keep it.
What? Why? Are you calling me an idiot?
Of course.
Not.
But the point is that you're not supposed to be to police your feelings, right? I don't know why police. Be as dramatic as you want.
But I was just... Well, yeah.
Underneath the scribble, Monica writes, "You idiot," and starts the poem.
Stares at
the paper. The words stare back at her.
It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and then I did that exact same thing anyways. This is really gonna take some getting used to.
I believe in you.
Hurrah! Thanks, I do too. Me, I mean. But also you, of course.
Monica continues the exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quiet and struggles to write without overthinking it. But after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively. Peppered with all the random thoughts.
Phew!
Monica looks up and down at her sheet.
Gosh, I feel so tense. Look at this. I hate it. But it's also kind of liberating.
I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems.
Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to try really, really hard at it. But I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing. With you.
Sayori beams.
I'll stop here, but we still have time. Let's try to work on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language.
Language? Like... Yay, let's do it! Monica and Sayori proceed with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, I know how to say it, but then so does their insurance in the club. Essence. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Another day passes. As usual, Monica is the first one to the club room. With her is a printout of the revised Literature Club flyer, complete with all the new ideas Monica and Sayori came up with.
If only this was the flyer we gave to that one reading girl the other day. It's so much more attractive than the old one. But
there's the new catchphrases is featured clearly in the center of the flyer. Write the way into your heart. Surely common sense would say that the one writes from the heart is not into the heart. But the message being delivered is that one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully, Monica and Sayori had thought that it would be enough to garner some curiosity from students.
Why do I feel so tense looking at this?
Monica thinks back at the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise.
Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be president if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about?
The Literature Club is truly beginning to take form. But with that, the weight on Monica's shoulders only becomes heavier.
You glitched.
Debate club.
Blah blah. I do not say blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
How many Adam Sandler references are we gonna make? That's really bad when we keep making random movie references, but they're all Adam Sandler.
Back to school.
Oh my god.
Literature school.
To
show to my wife that I'm not a fool.
Debate club was always about rigging structure.
Rigid
structure. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Debate.
Formulating all points.
And counterpoints. And developing them,
delivering. It was about the person on the outside.
That's why Monica is so good at it. It exercised, exhausted entirely with existed.
It existed entirely within her realm of comfort. He needs a break.
Reading's hard.
It's suffocating.
Damn, it's bad. Monica's feeling the pain.
I need to break through this mental wall.
Trying to get through to me.
I need to learn to express myself for real.
Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs her pen.
You sure she didn't write on her pen?
Shut up.
She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the pen.
What? Shut up. One mistake. But her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blotch of ink collects around the tip of the pen. Monica lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run her finger across it. This should be blood.
Of my enemies.
Of my enemies. And she does so. The black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monica's canvas.
Ugh.
Out of spite for herself, Monica presses her pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper.
Come on, Monica. Just move your hand.
Monica writes.
This is what I get for seeking perfection. A stain. Dot, dot, dot.
Monica slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. The air conditioner seems louder today. I'm here! Hi! Oh, wait, shit.
Hi.
Monica hears Sayori approach her desk, then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sits down in the adjacent desk. Bad day?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
You too?
The new flyer looks so good. I've been working so hard.
Yeah.
On the club, but also something else, I think.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard to just be vulnerable.
Sayori takes the sheet of paper from Monica's desk. She writes something down on it and stares at it for a while. Can I trust you?
To kill you, of course. You can trust me with anything.
Sayori glances at Monica with sadness in her eyes.
Ooh.
Oh, crap. Time out. Understanding the signal, Monica takes the piece of paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. Sometimes I want to die.
Sayori.
Dot. Dot. This is really, really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So if I can do it, then you can do it too. Because we're like a million times better than me. You're like a million times better than me.
That's completely not true.
Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I never told anyone before. Even now, my head is like screaming to me to stop.
Yeah, it's telling you you're gonna die. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday.
I want to. It just feels right.
Shut up and take my feelings.
I mean, maybe it's a part of the reason I came to the club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you more than I'm scared. At those words, Monica stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Where Monica's own futile, but genuine efforts effectively the push that Sayori needed. Sayori deliberate breaths.
Sayori's deliberate breaths
can be heard over the air conditioner. As the paper, as she prepares herself to continue, Monica waits in general silence. I have this home problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you can just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kind of thoughts that I have. It's it's so much easier, so just smile and help everyone else be happy.
But that's
terrible. That's what Monica wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying something wrong, saying the wrong thing. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like, whatever, I'm not smiling. Everyone would worry about me and ask what's wrong. I know that because I'm used to be like that. Sayori pauses, seeming to recall something in her past. I just want everyone to be happy.
Don't worry.
And that's the most important thing to me. And letting people look inside my head doesn't bring happiness to anyone. Sayori pauses again, her solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person.
How did you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried that I'll be one of those people too?
I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this. But another part of me, I think, feels like it would be different this time. Whenever we talk about what the club is supposed to mean, I keep feeling like it was right for me to do. Especially after you've been trying so hard to express yourself too. It just made me feel like I could say anything in confidence, and our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly. The club is only two people, but it already means so much to me. Monica feels a tightening sensation in her heart. She's having a heart attack.
Got a virus.
She didn't stay 6 feet away. A feeling of concern that Sayori's emotions radiate between them.
Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're so brave, Sayori. You're so strong and brave, I don't even compare.
Monica steps forward.
But if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy. If you'd like.
Aww. Wordlessly, and without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on Monica's shoulder.
How could she kill her?
Although their contrast, Monica can almost feel the torrent of the thought swimming in Sayori's head. And in this moment, enhanced by the air of the club, Monica realizes that of all the days that have passed, this is the one where she really, really hopes that nobody new walks through the door. She speaks softly.
You're like the sweetest girl I've ever met. You can say anything, I'll never judge you. I promise.
Sayori breathes, beginning to quiver. She takes several deep breaths, trying as hard as she can to start speaking, to say things she never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks in a choked voice. I'm so worthless. I'm worthless, and everyone would be better off without me. She suppressed and sobbed as a tear falls down her cheek. I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything, and I just feel like everyone just has put up with me, and I hate it. I hate it. The more Sayori speaks, the more she fails to control her voice, falling victim to the overwhelming sadness clutching at her throat and chest. I don't want to have these thoughts. I want them to go away. And now I'm speaking up. Making you put up with me. And I just want to die. As soon as Sayori loses her composure, Monica becomes determined to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sayori needs right now. So she won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through as soft and gentle.
This isn't putting up with you. It's just being your friend.
Monica offers a few words of comfort, but she knows Sayori said it herself, and that thoughts Sayori experiences are the ones that don't belong. And Monica can't magically make them go away. The most she can do is help Sayori battle them like any good friend would.
You have so much value to me and your other friends too. This club wouldn't have been the same without you. I really, really mean that. You coming here was the best thing that could have happened. Even if we never got any other members, I would still be happy. That's what you brought here. You brought us a vision, and you also brought happiness. And that's your favorite thing to do, right?
Sayori doesn't respond, but Monica feels her gently nod. No more words are needed between them. The two share their embrace for a while longer, Monica letting Sayori take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles fully cease, Sayori lifts her head and wipes her eyes. I guess I needed that. Some days are just harder than others.
Well, I'm here whenever you need me. But any other time, I'll make sure that things are the way they usually are. If that's what makes you happy.
Thanks. You're the best.
No, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
The two exchange smiles.
You know, I'm sorry to bring this up all of a sudden, but have you considered talking to a professional? You need therapy.
Damn. Sayori nods. It's scary. Since it's already so hard to tell people.
Yeah. Well, of course it will always be your choice, but if you're ever looking to find the courage for it, I can do my best to help you.
Thanks. I think it helps knowing that you would. Sayori suddenly yawns and stretches. Wow, that made me tired. And hungry.
Ha. Well, I won't make you do any work today if you're not up for it.
No, I want to. I mean, I can say that it's definitely one of the things that makes me happy. Monica smiles. But I might want to get a snack first. All of a sudden, the sound of the door causes the two of them to turn their heads. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks inside. A face that seems familiar. And that was part 2.
Woo!
I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.